We live, bro.
Episode 97.
It's gone quickly the last few, eh? We made the comment earlier. Definitely increased the intensity getting closer to that number 100.
It's up the ante, eh? I don't know why. It's just obviously I think 100 is a nice big round number, and it's something we've aimed towards since the get-go. And I don't know, this countdown thing is pretty cool.
Well, it's like an achievement, I think, like even if it's a personal achievement. But
well, that's what it is, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, who else cares if
no one else is counting?
100 was just you and me.
Yeah, no one else is counting. But no, cool nonetheless. What's the plan for number 100? We're not quite sold on the decision yet, eh?
No, it's going to be big, I think, either which way. But yeah, we'll see. We've got a couple of weeks to sort that out.
Yeah.
Last week was a lot of fun, though.
It was cool, eh?
Last week was...
Last week, the guys from Easy Pilot, if you want to know about EASA exams in South Africa, that episode then for you. Go check it out.
Yeah.
It was a cool one. It was a difficult
cool.
one. I mean, we had Kev here in the studio. We had his partners in all over the place in Europe there. It was the most we've ever had on the show.
Yeah.
People-wise. And but I think it worked out well.
It was a great conversation. And I mean, I certainly learned a lot. You know, the guys went through a lot of work in the background to put that whole sort of
a lot of work
project together and to be able to get that to work. So no, it was awesome. It was a great conversation with Kev, and it was nice to meet all the guys up in Europe. I mean,
cool bunch of oaks.
Yeah, I think we've made a few good contacts to add to our network.
Yep. So go check that one out. That was number 96, the Easy Pilot one. Very, very good. So news this week. Quite a lot of it, actually.
Well, listen, we haven't had a chance over the last 2 weeks to actually, get into the nitty-gritty of the news. And there's been a lot of aviation news over the last 3 weeks.
There has.
Yeah, I know. There's quite a bit to talk about news-wise. I mean, both in SA and globally.
Let's start with the local stuff, obviously, as we do. New airline in South Africa. Or is it?
I don't know. Is it happening? Jolly Airlines, the advertising.
You tell me.
I don't know.
So they obviously due to be launched soon.
Is that a bit of a catchphrase?
I was gonna say soon, very soon.
Yeah.
Look, they, what sort of blew it a bit for me was their press release has got a picture of an A380 with the logo insignia and the tail with a lion on it.
Yeah.
And it's not the lion or the logo. It's the A380. I mean, there's probably one airline in the world at the moment that can make that A380 work, and being Emirates. And to even have that aircraft there on your press release.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's
clever,
ambitious, overly ambitious, or just not so clever.
Well, anyway, I mean, it's what he says. It's my clear intention for a mix of expat aviation professionals to make Jolie successful and support South African nationals and transfer skills parallel to international aviation management. We are about to embark a new era in aviation where the standards of convenience, safety, and luxury will be set for our passengers to enjoy, leaving a deep footprint for the next generation to follow, says Sean van der Merwe. Not my words, but that's what it says.
Yeah, well.
Ryan, how difficult is the aviation industry? We both got family that have been involved in it for years. This is not for sissies, and it's not, and I'm not criticizing anything here. Anyone that wants to start a new airline, all the better for everyone.
Yeah. Your intentions might be good, but don't underestimate the red tape and the bureaucracy and the loops that you're going to have to jump through to try and start any sort of aviation operation in South Africa at the moment, whether it's an ATO or Part 135 or Part 121.
They all have their challenges. I mean,
it's mega challenges, and it doesn't happen overnight, man. If it was difficult 15 or 20 years ago, that's been 10x now, because there's a whole lot more red tape to get through.
Yeah.
And I would almost advocate, like, if you are going to start something, and get your ducks in a row first, get your operation up and running, or at least nearly there, before you start advertising that this is coming soon, because coming soon
can mean it's like just now in South Africa. But
yeah,
look, I mean, you can't criticize people for wanting to start a new business. That's what we've promoted. Go and start something, and it's it's a viable thing. There is a need, particularly. I mean, they've signed a deal with it's a Korean company, I believe, and it's for ATR aircraft. They're going to be cargo configured, and it's going to start off as a cargo operation by the sounds of it.
You just have to ask yourself a question, though. Like, those of us that are in the industry, that have been here long enough, and the players that are already running the airlines. I mean, why has no one else already gone organized an A380? Yeah. Or why has
that whole A380 thing was I just wish that they didn't put that picture of an A380 there, because anyone in the know kind of goes, oh, come on, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Had they put a ATR there, or a Dash 8 or a 1900, hey, everyone would have been, hey, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
But because it was an A380 in that press release thing, which was poorly written as well, Ryan. I mean, it was.
Yeah. It takes it from being plausible to sublimely ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what they do. Let's see what the next step. The CIA have confirmed that there is an application in for a Part 121 operation. So
you made the comment earlier in conversation that what we do here is commentating, and commentators are sometimes allowed to be wrong in their predictions or estimates, I suppose.
Well, I mean, you got to commentate on the second half. You might not know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
But all you can do is put your best foot forward there.
So anyway, let's see what happens.
Yeah, they signed an MOU with is it called Callum? So they're a operation. It's a packs to freight operation in Korea. There were a couple of people on Facebook on Fly Africa that went and said, "Yup, I've looked that up, and Callum is something else. It's nothing to do with aircraft."
Yeah,
I don't know, Ron.
Again, you got to be careful of the opportunists out there, of which there are many.
There are many, and this and let's call it as it is. This is not by no means. I mean, Sean here, who obviously is running this whole thing. I mean, he's been quite low profile. I haven't seen an awful lot about it. I heard about this a while ago, but there wasn't a huge amount of media hype about it, much less than the other operation that is spoken about a lot more.
Yeah.
And so Brian, let's see.
Let's see. I think again we must highlight that. I suppose we just try and caution some of the guys that might feel, or the people out there that are vulnerable to false hopes.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're getting at. Is when we see things like this, is like, is it real? Because does it offer opportunity? Is there something coming of this that might bear fruit for guys out there that are really looking for aviation work?
Okay, so where is
pinning their hopes on?
Where is the caution though? Is it the guys just looking for jobs, or is it that further investment in the company is requested along the way?
For both. For
Exactly.
both. Because we've got contacts and people in our network that are on both sides of that sort of line. So no, it's a caution for everyone.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Be careful. Don't go throwing your hard-earned bucks away for something that right now is not a real thing.
Yeah.
Aircraft on the ground, on the apron, painted up, ready to go. It's a different story.
Exactly.
Until that day, caution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But whoever's involved there, cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about it, and only good for the South African aviation industry.
Exactly.
No question about that.
Exactly.
Cool article in Simple Flying, actually. That was with Simple Flying, a major online source of information that we use regularly.
Hey, absolutely.
And it was nice to actually read an article. It was about Seme, and it was about the interview that John Howell on Aviadev did with Miles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so kind of cool to see that on such a major magazine. So yeah, I'll leave that in the show notes. Check that out.
Yeah, it's very cool. Simple Flying are actually a great platform. I must actually give them kudos because
Easy to read, eh?
easy to read, and I've referenced them. We use their material a lot. I'll be honest. I
It
mean,
gets to the
it's a
point.
great forum to go and check aviation news and to stay up to date. Yeah, so yeah, worthy of a shout out for those guys.
Definitely. You've been following what's happening in Nigeria with the airlines?
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost shut down shop the other day.
Yeah, no, look, I kind of like what they were doing. The airlines rallied together to give the government a middle finger to say, listen, guys, you need to do something about the fuel price.
Yeah.
So yeah, not convenient for the passengers, the people that have paid for tickets and everything. But I think what the Nigerians were getting at and what they were doing right was standing together.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that there were a bunch of airlines that are in competition with
to each other, yeah.
but they're like, no, listen, someone's got to stand for this shit,
yeah,
and stop it. And
they did it under the umbrella of the airline operations of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And ticket prices, seat prices, $120. It was $240 a couple of weeks later. The airlines can't handle that. They can't handle the exorbitant increase in the fuel. So they said, well, then we're not going to fly.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You shut down the aviation economy there.
Yeah.
Then the whole thing is exacerbated with what's going on in Russia, and the fuel price is obviously increasing because of that. So it's a real perfect storm at the moment there in Nigeria.
It is, and I think look, we're going to see it here in South Africa pretty soon as well. I mean, there's warnings. I'm not sure how much of it is fake news per se, but we're facing a potential fuel price increase of nearly close to R4 a litre next month.
Yeah.
And it's one thing on motorists, but it's the aviation aircraft operators are looking at this thinking, holy shit, what does this do to us?
Yeah.
And I hope that we can rally some sort of similar togetherness.
It's been a knock,
because the operators, the airlines, everyone needs to at least at some point say, well, stop the bus. We've taken a knock with COVID. We've taken a knock with everything else, and now fuel prices.
Yeah,
come on, man, stand together, guys.
Yeah,
that's heavy.
But anyway, so it'll be interesting to watch what happens there in that Nigerian market.
Yeah,
because no doubt if those prices don't drop, they are going to do something about it, and it just stops all travel in that region. And it's a major region for regional aircraft.
Yeah, well, governments soon realize how you actually can't do without the airline. You can't.
Nope.
Particularly in Africa. I mean, there's no road networks. There's no other alternatives. So, yeah. Good job on them for getting it started.
Good job. United Airlines today made formal application for direct service 3 times a week between Washington and Cape Town. So that'll be commencing November.
That's cool.
Yep.
Another sort of direct network to the US,
and they're fighting for it too. I think there's a bit of a thing going on with themselves and Delta, and it's nice to see. So Cape Town very much in demand.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, I mean, Cape Town is what? It's Africa's Miami, so it's a
place to be. Man. It's a place to be.
Yeah.
No, good news. Local stuff. Otherwise, Ryan, I mean, what's happening charter side and that? I mean, look, didn't chat about this beforehand, but
no, look, charter side is busy. It's so nice to see how things have progressed and picked up, and it's awesome. And they're at a point now where I said it a couple of weeks ago. There's not enough charter aircraft available. Operators are scrambling to find the correct gauge aircraft. King Air 200s, 1900s, high demand because people are actually flocking in now in groups.
Yeah.
Initially it was like, I'm going to take my wife and my 2 kids to travel. People are coming to South Africa in groups of 10, 15 more. So the demand for bigger gauge aircraft is actually surprising. Okay. And it's awesome to see. Hopefully that won't get hampered by the fuel price increase that's happening. But I know.
I suppose they're less affected though, because it's it's not that constant. It's not that constant expense, and you can maybe adjust for it a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah, in a way. But look, they still got to absorb that somehow. But it's cool because not only is it good for the charter market, but the lodges, the hotels, the whole hospitality industry in South Africa as a whole
Yeah.
is actually benefiting from this resurgence and the recovery, which is quite cool, man.
So long may that continue.
I hope so. Eh?
Should we shift across to international a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
So the China, was it Eastern, the 737 crash?
Hectic.
They found no issue with that aircraft.
Perfectly serviceable. Apparently.
Perfectly serviceable. They asked, is it plausible that someone came into the flight deck, it was hijacked? It doesn't look like it. So, yeah.
We were worried about that in the beginning. Remember, we when that accident happened, it was like that initial, like, shit, I hope this is not a MAX.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we still spoke about it, like, well, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And if it turns out to be one of these issues where one of the pilots went dilly.
Well, they still don't know. No one's admitting that.
Not confirmed.
So it's not confirmed. But so far, they haven't, flagged any mechanical or flight control problems with the plane involved in the March 21st crash in southern China.
Yeah.
So neither Boeing nor the air safety regulators have been working on any service bulletins that would have come out had there been an issue. So it lends itself to think that maybe it was intentional. They have gone and checked the pilot's financials, his state of mind, all that stuff.
Everything was fine.
Everything was good. So it's a bit of a mystery, yeah. Nothing.
It's a pity, yeah. There's too many of these mystery types. I mean, MH370 still hasn't been solved.
No.
And, I think this is going to be one of those accidents that takes just as long to solve.
Yeah, and you wonder how it ever will if they can't actually pull their cockpit voice recorder properly and get the actual what happened there. I mean, will it ever be solved?
No, it's frightening.
So pretty frightening.
It really is.
You see the one with the dude landing in Florida when his pilot went incapacitated.
Yeah, what was that?
Guy on a fishing trip. you see the guy said he actually had dreamt about this. He had it was like a recurring dream that he actually had that one day he might have to land an aircraft.
It's crazy.
And he did.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, well done.
Kudos to the ATC, though, because the ATC on duty was also, a part-time instructor. And he obviously had what it took. Yeah, he had what it took to be able to, when he heard the distress call, he had the makings of someone who would be able to explain to someone, like, how to get this airplane down.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, perfect storm again. I mean, he has a guy who sort of, had an epiphany that this might happen.
Yeah.
Coupled with an ATC who can say, listen, this is what you need to look for.
Yeah.
And good job on getting the airplane down. I mean, because can you imagine?
Must be quite hectic.
Your note must slam shut so loud. Like,
so what did he say? My pilot has gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane, but I'm maintaining at 9,100. When asked by the tower for his position, he replied, I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me. But it's pretty cool.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, well done to him for sure.
At least there are some pranks that turn out well.
Yeah. On another positive note, just from a travel perspective now, mask mandates in Europe are done, eh?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Gone.
In fact, I read, funny thing, KLM, if you're flying out of Joburg to Europe, you don't have to wear a mask. But coming back, you do.
Yeah, because you coming to a country that requires masks.
Yeah, it's 4 decades behind this whole thing.
Yeah. But it's a good move for the whole tourism industry. People don't want to travel with masks on. People want the option of traveling with masks on. But if you don't want to travel with one on, then you should be allowed. So Europe's got on board there. Interestingly, you've seen how the unruly passenger account numbers gone down.
Have come down.
Yeah, because of that.
I can believe it. My uncle came and he visited us a couple of weeks ago from the UK, and he had to travel from the UK on Turkish via Istanbul to Cape Town, and then cruised around the country, and then eventually saw us. But he said, sitting from Manchester to Istanbul all the way to Cape Town, I mean, obviously upwards of 18 or 19 hours with that mask around your ears.
No, it's not fun.
One thing is it uncomfortable to breathe, but that little rubber thingy actually starts to hurt your ears. It gets viciously uncomfortable. So, yeah, it's just nuts, man. I'm glad that actually some countries in the world are starting to relax their rules on that.
Yeah, it's I think it's to be honest, it might sound like a little a small little victory, but it's a major victory, I believe, in the whole travel saga. It wasn't so long ago you needed your vaccine, your everything. I mean, COVID test, 72 hours before landing on the other side. It doesn't bode well for people saying, hey, let me take my family traveling. For business travel, it's a different story. But so great to see that. It's a little victory, and now we just need it to continue forward.
Exactly.
Locally here in South Africa, I obviously haven't traveled locally for a while, but it's obviously still the same.
If you're on a domestic flight now and you're not wearing a mask,
so South Africa is actually going against IATA's recommendation. If you want to look at it that way. Hey?
Yeah, they haven't caught up yet.
It's against the regulation. If IATA are chuffed about this whole thing, then you
can follow suit.
Yeah, I think it's about time. We will see more of that going forward, no doubt. Little victories along the way for this whole COVID battle. My aunt and uncle and cousin, they're busy traveling. They went to watch the MotoGP on the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know if he actually took leave at work. So, but it looked like other than the long journey across, because after they went to Canada, long journey. But it got me thinking a little bit, and I saw a few little news articles on new cabin interiors. So I found this quite interesting, because obviously a sign of the times where technology is changing so fast, you actually have to adapt as well. So Air France, they've unveiled a new business class altogether. So if you travel business class on Air France, certain aircraft for now, I believe it's just it's only on certain routes at the moment, but you actually have a sliding door, blocks you off.
In business class?
Business class.
Per passenger?
Per passenger.
No ways. Huh?
Yep. Proper sliding door. So they say the seat is based on the 3 Fs. Ryan. Not those 3 Fs. Full flat, full access, and full privacy. Flies, floats, and what?
It's a family show.
Yeah. A full on lie flat seat, but you got this sliding door, blocks you off totally. I thought, okay, that's quite cool, because they start mentioning things like now 17.3 inch 4K high def glare-free TV.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So that's a next gen, eh?
Yeah, I know.
I mean
that's right up high.
That's proper. I mean,
that's proper quality.
That's proper.
Can you imagine how well you could watch the podcast on that instead of looking at it on your phone?
Yeah. And I wonder how long before you can actually do that sort of stuff live. I mean, I assume they got Wi-Fi and that on there now.
Yeah, most airlines do. I mean, I know Wi-Fi. Emirates.
It's not cheap.
No, Emirates offer a Wi-Fi offering. You can buy like a certain amount of data bundle.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
It is doable.
Yeah.
But so quite cool to keep an eye on what's happening with the various airlines, because is it not? I mean, for a long time it was the aircraft, the paint scheme, fuel, whatever it might be. It's going to become your experience in that seat, because you're going to get in that seat, you're going to watch your movies, you're going to, it's got USB-C ports in that as well, Ryan.
Yeah. USB-C is like the next best thing.
Yeah, so if it's got USB-C, I mean, it's hey, maybe I'll try a flight on Air France next.
Of course,
that's the idea.
It only makes sense. I mean, the airlines are all vying for who can fly the longest route right now. It's all these ultra long hauls. We'll take you from Sydney all the way back to Sydney kind of thing in 20 hours. But if you're going to do that, you better offer a very good passenger experience, comforts.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. That's what it is. It's a passenger experience. So they call it your Fontainebleau. The first aircraft equipped with these new cabins and a Wi-Fi connection will fly from Paris to New York this
100%
European autumn.
Can you imagine? Now that's where someone's going to be booking their ticket online. Like, does this aircraft have Wi-Fi? Yes, no. I'm not going with that one. Boom. Sorry for you.
Exactly. Even in their premium economy cabin, each seat offers 96 centimeters of legroom. I can't quite work out if that's a lot or not. But and they're also moving away from that fixed shell. So on the premium economy that the seat shell didn't move. So that's gone. So there's more of a
premium economy was a bit of like false advertising to me. It
Yeah,
was like,
slightly better food.
yeah, you got a bit more like arm. You didn't have to fight for the armrest, which was cool, and you had
Yeah.
like this like footrest thing that
It's
works.
an expensive armrest.
Very expensive. I wouldn't pay for it. The few times that I got upgraded to it, I was very grateful.
Yeah,
But it wasn't worth, the amount of extra beer tokens that I would have to throw at it
sure.
for that comfort.
But listen to this. So the premium economy seats, they got a USB A and C port.
Yeah.
And the seats in those two cabins, they both got in economy and premium 13.3 inch 4K HD screens with Bluetooth connection.
That's a nice big screen.
So you can Bluetooth those Bose headsets that you
Straight
wear
to the
in
screen.
straight to screen. No, that stupid twin bloody plug
Yeah.
thing that always is dodgy. You have
Yeah.
to wiggle it around to get a good connection.
Winner, chicken dinner, man.
Cool, eh?
100%.
Over to Emirates. So Emirates, they're also launching a new premium economy. So the standard Emirates, that wood, that sort of polished,
That old school,
very
like
old school.
70s type look.
it's like you'd find it in a Beetle sort of thing. But that's their vibe. And Emirates, they redoing, what do they call it? Cabins are decorated with a wood paneling that echoes Emirates business class cabins. So when you get in there, you get your normal glass champagne, but a whole new premium economy there, and very, very nice. If you have a look at the pictures, legit.
Not surprising coming from Emirates. Listen, they've always offered a top class product, so
they are on top of their game, eh?
They are. I've never actually flown Emirates.
Didn't you go to sim on Emirates?
No, I know. I dodged that bullet. I managed to always get the Air France flights straight to.
You didn't go when we used to, when we had that deal with.
No, I was quite lucky when because that was you got stuck in the early days of this whole arrangement of having to fly the long way around.
No, it was a long haul.
I was at the back of the queue, so by the time I went to sim, I was always like one of the last guys. So I'd heard what sim was all about and how the travel arrangements and everything had been made better. So
okay, fair enough.
I scored a good ticket.
Let you off the hook on that one. Staying with Emirates, they got a good capital injection from the government there. So this whole business of whether they were actually supported or not is out the window. Quite clear they are backed, and they're going to continue to do it and continue to grow.
Emirates are rolling it, man. I think most of the guys that I know that were at Emirates that were let go,
they're all back.
They all have their jobs back.
But it's not just that, Ryan. I mean, the guys are so chuffed to be there.
Yeah,
they are. It's like a no-brainer. They wanted to go back, and well done to Emirates for keeping that sort of culture there, where the guys, it was a no-brainer, go back.
Yeah, exactly.
So, cool.
That's great.
On the manufacturer news front, so Boeing, some good news the last couple of weeks. They're getting rid of that backlog of orders. So. 46 commercial aircraft in April, but there were a few cancellations. There's a whole lot of numbers and figures there with Boeing. There's an article that came out today in the Air Current that talks about the Pentagon not quite knowing or not quite agreeing on the direction Boeing are going with their commercial decisions. So it's a story for another day. It's a much bigger story. We can't get into it on this show today, but be interesting to watch. Because on the flip side of it, you got Airbus that got no competition at the moment.
They got no competition, but Airbus are hurting with this whole A350 story and the paint issue with Qatar. I mean, I think a lot of it's been swept under the rug.
Do you think that's affected them?
I think so.
So what you're saying is any form of negative social media or media has that big of an effect?
I think so. So look, obviously Qatar have been the airline that's been most affected by this paint issue, and they've made a lot of noise about it because they're not willing to lie down over it. But I don't think that you can say that it hasn't hurt Airbus altogether.
No.
They're feeling the pinch. So yeah, the rub between the two major manufacturers is still
there, still
going to be seen for a while.
So EASA as well, they've issued an airworthiness directive for the 350 over a software bug.
Yeah, that was another thing that didn't do Airbus any justice this last week.
Yeah. you wonder with these things being so software driven. I mean, is this not going to be a pretty common thing going forward?
It's kind of crazy. Look, I've never flown an Airbus. Don't know too much about it technically, but I've been, involved in the training with guys that have flown it, and it's insane to hear how much that airplane relies on software and how much it looks after you.
Yeah.
And
The whole automation side is insane.
it's actually ridiculous to the point where I think I'm going to get shot down here heavy now. I know it. I'm going to feel the heat on this, but I think Airbus makes lazy pilots.
Yeah.
Are
you saying the guys don't perform when they come and fly the ERJ?
No, I'm just saying that the airplane itself looks after the guys too much. So there's got to be, some bandwidth that gets taken away there. So
who's really the captain is what you're saying there?
Yeah.
Did you, when you were doing your COM or your PPL, did you used to fly with a handheld GPS?
Yes, a lot.
So do the Russian military fighters. Have you seen that story?
How are they even getting GPS signal? Is it all just from their Russian satellites?
What is a GLONASS?
Yeah.
What is it? Obviously doesn't work so well. I mean, those Sukhois are highly modern aircraft, and I mean they got a real rinky-dink handheld GPS with sellotape on the dash, so they can navigate.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't look good.
It's backwards. It is backwards. You are not going to impress chicks if you say, "I fly a Sukhoi." It's like, oh, it's fine. You can fly. How the fuck do you get around?
Yeah,
no.
But there's a bit of heat because there was in 2021 there was a Facebook post from a Russian politician who said, "Look, the equipment inside the military aircraft is not what's being told." And now a couple of these Sukhois 34s have been shot. They've been shot down, and they've seen the same story: handheld GPSs, sellotaped or double-sided tape to the dash.
That's weird.
Doesn't look so good.
No, it doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
What are your chances of accuracy? I mean, it's
But not even that. I mean, that aircraft is a modern military. That thing is designed to. That's going to fight the Raptors if it has to, and
I think you'd get more respect if you taped a fucking whiz wheel to the side of your canopy, and if Oaks knew you were navigating with a pencil and maths and hitting your targets and getting around, saving fuel.
Agree.
Then you pick up.
Agree.
Some credit.
Agree. Continuing around, something that you might quite enjoy. So we've spoken about metaverse. We dig it. We don't quite understand it.
But it's cool.
Yeah. We know it's cool, but we don't quite know how to get in it just yet. I mean, there was even a discussion with us about taking the podcast to the next level. We thought, hey, why don't we try and actually do this in the metaverse type of thing?
Yeah.
But more and more airlines are going down this route. So do I pronounce it properly? Vueling. So they've gone down this whole thing, metaverse ticket sale experience.
Yeah.
Same story. You can walk through the cabin. You buy the ticket in this virtual platform. And by buying it in that virtual platform, you actually buy a ticket on the real aircraft itself.
It's legit.
Hey?
Can you imagine? And I'm going a bit like too far down the track now, but when this whole planet, like all 7 billion people eventually own NFTs, okay, you can go and buy your ticket and you'll be able to see the person that you're sitting next to.
Yo, you're right.
Hey? Like,
you're right.
That's a thing.
That is a thing.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But being able to choose your seat in a virtual experience is such an advance. It's an experience that's
gold, man.
First prize, man.
That's gold.
First prize.
So this you buy the ticket as part of this virtual network. So whether you walk around, it looks like from the one article I read, it looks like you actually buy it in a very old-fashioned way. Like you go to the counter, you choose your ticket, and that actually buys you a seat on the real aircraft. But the article goes on pretty standard. We've spoken about it a few times, but how big is this? Not so much. Okay, yeah, for the airlines for sure. But what about for the travel industry in terms of checking out your hotel room?
Yeah, man.
Do you want the family apartment? Do you want 2 singles? Do you want the double bed? Do you want the
what view does your room have?
What view?
That
It's
is always a
massive.
thing. It's like, am I going to face the mountain or the sea?
Yeah.
100%.
But not only that, I mean, there's some of these hotels now in Rome. I mean, I was in Rome with my missus a few years ago now, and one of the cool things with that hotel was where it was and what little restaurants and shops were around the area. Now you can actually, with your VR headset, you can walk out that hotel. You can look at the shops. Those are the shops that are there.
Yeah.
What do they sell? How close are you to the train station? How easy is it going to be to catch a taxi to the airport because you're leaving on this day? It's major. It takes the stress out of it, man.
Yeah, no, totally.
I can't wait for that. I love that.
Yeah, no.
I like to go through something. I want to simulate something first.
Yeah. Look, it comes from like someone who really properly plans their trip to the most finite detail.
It's sim training for a holiday.
You have to wonder, look, I mean, we love this because it's got so many advantages, but does it take away from the experience somehow?
I don't know, man. I think it adds to the experience.
It maybe does lessen the anxiety. Like you say, like it's where am I going to find this? People get worked up about that kind of shit.
And what about the excitement leading up to it?
Yeah.
So a week before, you can, find your bearings so that when you arrive in the place, hey, you know where the train station is. You don't have to waste time going down the wrong road.
There's two things I want to know. Where's my hotel?
Yeah.
And where's the closest pub?
Exactly.
Like we did in Berlin. Yeah. Bro. Remember that day?
Yeah.
We dropped our bags, found the pub around the corner.
Didn't find the hotel.
Not easy. But we ticked two important boxes in one go. Yeah. And that's what you need to do. Yeah.
No, but I think it's an awesome plan. And obviously this is going to be tied in with the airlines, the travel agents, no doubt. All going to have apps. You log on with your Oculus or whatever it is and go and find your way around. You can even cruise across. So in your hotel, you got kids, right?
Yeah.
So like, what do they have for the kids at breakfast?
Yeah.
So you can actually go to the breakfast table, check the buffet table.
Yeah. Even taking it one step back, I mean, I think a lot of anxiety for most just ordinary passengers, arises from like, when I land at this new airport, where do I go? Having a virtual experience. Okay, I'm going to get off the airplane. I'm going to go from this gate and I'm going to go to that terminal. Boom, 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 boom. If you've got a clear-cut picture in your head of, so that I don't miss the train or the taxi or whatever the case, or the next flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to do a lot for traveling.
Caroline says, what are you going to explore when you get there? Spoil some of the surprises. I suppose it does.
Oh.
I mean, you got to see. I mean, okay, so at what point does it get to this experience you're getting on the VR headset? At what point is that experience better than the real thing? Because let's say you're going to Italy or something. You don't have to deal with a taxi driver that doesn't know how to speak English. You don't have to deal with a guy coming up to you asking for money as soon as you get into. There's all over the place there. You got to watch.
Yeah.
You got to hold on to your handbag there.
You got like places like Thailand.
Don't worry about Hillbrow. You got to Naples or something. They'll take your phone before you can say phone. So all that stuff you don't actually have to deal with. At what point does that world take over? At what point is it a lot cheaper, a lot easier just to experience that VR?
I think VR, what will do, it'll take the anxiety away from the unknown. Okay. And then you'll be able to immerse yourself more in the experience, in the sights, the sounds, the smells of actually being in that place.
Yeah.
With the comfort of knowing, listen, I've seen this before and I know where I'm going. Not like getting, like you say, ambushed by some random wallet snatcher.
Yeah. It's gonna be watch the space because it's there. It's happening already. So not far away at all.
But not only for that. I mean, for training, man. I think where this excites us more is what it's got and the value that it holds in the aviation and pilot training sector.
All training sectors.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see where this goes, man.
So if you take yourself back, when were you at school? It's going back a long
time ago, bro.
23 years ago.
I'll try to block that out of my mind.
So would you trade it? I mean, would you trade your experience at school for a VR?
Absolutely.
Would you?
I hated school.
Did you?
I hated school. I absolutely hated school.
So you would do it?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated school.
I think you have to ask those questions around, and a
Yeah.
lot of the answers are yeah, the people would trade it straight away.
Yeah.
It's no question.
For sure.
Yeah.
The reason I hated school was because it didn't give me what I was interested in.
Yeah.
It wasn't for any other reason. It was like,
The school is bullshit.
for
We got to
me,
be
it was-
careful what we say about aviation because we're in the industry and
Yeah.
you can't always
But
say
school,
exactly. But school's
normal
actually
school
bunch
is a
of-
lot of shit.
other than the sport. The sport was legit. I mean,
Yeah, but there's
we-
other
we-
ways of getting around
it
that.
was an expensive year of sport
Yeah.
a few years of sport.
I didn't get any value out of doing half the bullshit that they try to ram down my throat at school. Like I say, I was one of those kids, typical pilot. I used to sit most days staring out the window, and Comair's MD-82s used to fly past, and I would just be like, "That's what I want to do." And this teacher waffling on about whatever she was talking about, and
Blitzkrieg.
I was like, you didn't change my life whatsoever. So
No.
fuck you.
Santiago Forte says he just wasn't good at school. It
Hate-
wasn't that he was dumb.
Yeah.
He just wasn't good at school.
I excelled when I was interested in something.
Yeah.
If you got my interest,
Mm.
you had me.
Mm.
But don't come at me with bullshit.
Is that where all the Hustler magazines came from?
Yeah, I was very good at that.
Yeah, I know. Shit. But that's an ongoing discussion, one that requires a bit of
Thought.
we could go deep into that.
100%.
Another story that keeps doing the rounds, and it's in the news every week. We must talk about it every week. Is this pilot shortage? It's hit Europe now.
Yeah.
So BA got rid of a lot of pilots. They're paying the price for it now. They can't take enough of the guys to get them back. Major bonuses are being paid. And I say major bonuses. A bonus is a bonus. If you don't have a job the one day and a company's offering you a little, incentive, you're probably going to take it.
For sure.
But it's hit Europe. There's no question. And that was due to the absolute ludicrous way that all these airlines went and panicked and acted like real. I can't even say it because you're getting shit. But they got themselves in trouble. Now they can't deal with the summer flying that's required because they panicked and got rid of everyone. Now they're trying to take everyone back.
It's not any pilots.
Pathetic, man.
Pilots. They let go of ground staff, essential ground staff.
Everyone in
So,
aviation.
I'm going to stand up for like the ground staff, the engineers, the cabin crew, everyone. And everybody,
we're always a little bit too focused on the pilots. I think on this. It's actually not just about the pilots.
And I've realized that lately. I thought, shit, there are more components to this machine that we as pilots realize. And
you ain't flying without the engineer or even the baggage handler
or the person that's handling the check-in counter. So I think what's biting the airlines more in the US and Europe now is aviation trained staff in general. And it's just getting closer and closer and closer to home because I think we're going to feel it here in South Africa pretty soon as well.
No, we are. There's there's a exodus of pilots.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah,
if you're not in the industry and you don't quite see it now, wait.
Chances are, if you're looking for a South African pilot right now, you're going to find him in the Middle East.
Yep, flying for Fly Dubai.
Yeah,
I mean, and if you're looking for a very good South African pilot, you're going to find him flying in the Middle East.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Exactly.
The offering there is right, and the guys are going. But they have hit Europe. Very good article again in the Air Current. It's a paid account, so you have to pay to read that article, but excellent article. And it lays it out exactly the way it is. Is it bullshit? Because it's a bit clickbaity, pilot shortage. What?
Yeah, look, I mean, we've spoken about it time and time again because, is it the flight schools that are trying to attract more students? Is that the next thing?
It was that for a while. There's no question about that. But there's an element of, the unions are involved now. The Airline Pilots Association there in the States, they categorize the shortfall as a myth. They said, no, this is not a shortage of pilots. It's a shortage of the airlines willing to pay a proper salary. That's what it is.
Well,
if they paid a proper salary, the right people will go to the company. So how long? I mean, look.
That's the truth and the whole truth.
It is.
and in fact, it's actually already happening here in South Africa, where some of the local airlines are recalling some of the retired pilots. It's happening.
Mhm.
It's happening. One of our biggest airlines is recalling some of the pilots that were let go, or because there's this whole thing about increasing the pilot retirement age from 65 to 68.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
So
tell
that's
me
very
that's
much
not
a-
an indication of like, hey,
Yeah, and that'll keep going through the years. It'll
yeah,
be 70 by the time we
yeah. So there's
sort of-
hope for us yet.
yeah, yeah, can have a second career. But yeah, look, it's yeah.
Yeah,
I like the Air Currents article. For
Mm.
me, yeah, John Ostrower and those guys there, they hit it on the head every time. It's not just you can't just call it a shortage.
there's more to it.
There's
than
more
that.
to it.
Yeah, of course.
And salaries come into it as well.
Mm.
Republic Airlines, they're seeking that exemption from the 1,500-hour pilot rule. So that's a big thing in the States. 1,500 hours you need before you can go to a proper aircraft.
Yeah, I still think that's a good rule to maintain.
I
But
think it's a
anyway.
good rule to maintain. But this article as well, they kind of bullshit it, because a lot of guys then all they do is they got rich family or whatever. They buy themselves little aircraft, and they go and bomb around. They do 1,500 hours, 1,500 useless hours, and then they're eligible for the seat. Whereas
Mm.
some poor oak that's flown, charters or whatnot, he's got 750 hours and he's not eligible.
Yeah. Look, that's aviation.
They're going to drop
man.
that law, Ryan. They're going to drop that law. There's no question. They can't keep it. They're going to have to employ so many expats
True story.
and everyone from around the globe just to look after that American market if they don't. So I
Yeah.
don't see that lasting a long time. Wasn't Sully big on that 15? Wasn't he one of the?
He was one of the major advocates.
major
for it. He was
advocates.
like you need to have that experience behind you before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Where do we stand on that? Like, I mean, you said that rule must stay, but if I took you back 20 odd years, you'd be saying the opposite, because you didn't have that
I think
amount.
it's just by virtue of where you sit on the side of the scale. But,
Exactly.
But listen,
But there's a lot of
That's it. I'm actually grateful for the fact that I was forced to go and gain that amount of experience doing what I had to do, because it made me, I would like to say, a better pilot in the end, because I had that experience. I put myself in situations where I, shat myself enough to be able to dig myself out, kind of thing.
Okay, so more
So-
valuable than flying with an experienced guy. If you were in the right seat, you had experienced guy on the left seat, and you were learning from this guy on the left for 1,000 odd hours.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm not pushing one or the other.
No,
I'm saying where the two
I'd have to say,
arguments come in.
if I'm going to pick a side, I'm going to pick the side of go out there, get your 1,500 hours, get the experience that you need, and then go and learn how to become an airline captain. I'll
Mhm.
stand on that. Old school, but
Yeah.
I actually advocate that.
Which is kind of the American way. It's not the European way. So
Yeah.
European way, out of flight school, onto a 320,
Mm.
into a right seat of an airliner. Fly there for a few years and progress through their own system into the left seat.
Yeah.
So you trained more specifically for the operation that you're going into. Whereas here in South Africa and in the States, it's a more all-round thing. If you meet the requirements, it means you can do anything. Whereas the
I
way
still
the
think
European,
that's still mollycoddling things a little bit too much.
I agree. I like
mean,
the other way.
You know
I,
the whole thing. Like when the shit hits the fan and you're sitting in the left-hand seat and you look left, and you're going to stare at your own reflection.
Mhm.
Well, you better be bloody damn sure that reflection has the balls
Mhm.
and the experience and the confidence to deal with whatever emergency that's hitting you.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
When the shit hits the fan, experience helps a lot.
that comment from Keegan fucking hits the notes.
Keegs flying socks, Clanfield. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. I agree. I fall on that side of it. There's no doubt. But that's a conversation for another show as well.
Absolutely.
Do you want my advisory?
I've been looking forward to advisory for the last 24
I
hours.
have been
since you-
punting this advisory for the last 2 days, and unfortunately, it's one that I know Ryan's going to be more excited about than probably our listeners, and I apologize for that. But over the last 3 years on the show, started in 2019, one of the big burdens has been preparation for the show. The show relies on a lot of reading, a lot of research, from different sources, and it takes a hell of a lot of time.
Does.
And this week, it was actually a bit late last week, but this week I've figured it out.
Yeah, I'm keen for this.
Yeah, I'm quite confident that I have figured it out, and it's come from a Bryan Air advisory we've given before. That was that Readwise application. Readwise, if you don't know what it is, if you're on your Kindle, on your iPad, and you're reading a book, and there's a phrase that you really like, you highlight that phrase, and Readwise will store that highlight for you. So at a later date, you can call on that highlight, or in fact, what they do, they send you a mail every day. They say, Bryan, here's 5 highlights, random highlights that you've done. And it kind of keeps you in the loop as to what you've highlighted. If you're reading a book and you highlight something, you must understand that thing stood out for you.
Yeah.
So the fact that you took a bit of time to highlight the thing, it stood out. And it resonated with you. So that's why you did it. In that app, they were advertising another app, and that app was called Instapaper. Now, this might be more relevant for more people than the Readwise itself. But what Instapaper is, we all read articles online. Some of them are excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good. And you read the article, sometimes you don't even finish the whole thing because you get a phone call, someone, calls on you, and that article is now gone. You might have been reading it on Facebook, it's gone. You can't get that article back. So what Instapaper is, you're reading a good article, you download like a Google or a Safari extension. If you like it, you click that extension, it stores that article. Nothing we haven't seen before. Apple have their own inbuilt thing, a reader or whatever it might be. Nothing we haven't seen before. But where this is nice for us, so we have to read from a few sources, and I know that Ryan gets a lot of his articles from a certain source. I try and get mine from others. Locally here, there's a few decent sites. I've already mentioned like the Air Current. Their stuff is just ridiculous in terms of their articles. They're like little mini books about a real niche subject. Excellent.
Simple Flying.
All of them. I mean, Airspace Africa there. I mean, you read an article on even, let's say, Fear 24, News 24 or something.
Every now and again they do have the
every now and again it's not bad, and you might want to keep that article. So you just click that extension and it sends it to your Instapaper account. But where this is cool for us, so what I then do, I've got all these articles now. Now I've got my iPad, I sit in my bed, I've got my Apple Pencil, and I'm reading an article as I would if I wasn't preparing for a podcast. I mean, just what I would normally be doing. And you're reading like you normally do, and you think, hey, that might be good for the show. So you highlight that a little bit, but very easy. Click of the pencil to highlight it.
Yeah.
Carry on a bit. There's a quote there. Highlight the quote. And you do that with all your articles. What's nice is Instapaper then links to Readwise. So it syncs to Readwise. Now it sends all those highlights to Readwise.
What a pleasure.
Now, when I want to prepare for the show, all I have to do is download those highlights and move those highlights into my notes that I kept here on my iPad. So great for us on the show. Obviously, not everyone's running a podcast, but everyone is collecting stuff online. There's no question. I mean, I spoke to Mark Mason last week. He said he really liked the advisories about he was talking specifically about the project,
the time management
project sort of stuff. So he kind of liked that. And Mark's running a gym. He's got the mountain bike stuff going on.
A lot going on, yeah.
There's no doubt that there's stuff online that he could find valuable.
Yeah.
So you look for it, you find it, you click it, it's there. When you've got 20 minutes by yourself, you can read those articles, you can highlight them, you can then send them to your device as a picture, you can put it on social media, you can use it for whatever you want, but it's there, it's not lost. I think it's highly, highly valuable, and I would categorically say it's the most useful thing I've found this year so far.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It's made the preparation for the podcast this week an absolute pleasure. I can say, in all honesty, that this week was the easiest prep I've had for the show. Because you made the comment before we started. I don't always think people quite understand how much effort and work goes into the prep, because you can't bullshit your way around. Everyone watching us here today knows the industry.
Yeah,
We can't bullshit our way around these people. They know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So you're in a field where you got a whole bunch of experts. You can't talk rubbish.
Yeah, listen, if you spit too much bullshit there, you're going to have a whole whack of critics coming at you. So, that's why I think Bryan and I, we try and do our best to collect the best amount and obviously the correct amount of information as possible. But there's a lot of it going around. So we've got to be pretty careful about it. But I dig where this is going, because while you were talking, it kind of reminded me of something else that I've been using, that Scribd app.
Yeah.
But in there, like, you're trying to listen to an audiobook, but they've gone and summarized these audiobooks. And I'll put one, for example, you've mentioned this book before, The Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. Now, actually, I would like to go through that book from start to finish, but I can only find summaries on there. And it's a highly popular summarized book. And kind of that's what you because I suppose what people are doing is making the best of their time right now.
Exactly.
And this is one of those advisories that leads towards it. It's brilliant. I dig it, pal.
I'll show you exactly how to make it work, and it's one of those ones that doesn't sound awfully exciting, but
when it can add value to your
when you can actually use it, and it shows how much value it's adding and how much time it's saving. It's quite remarkable, because you can lie on your bed next to your two little ones and the missus, and then you can read this article and you can highlight that little bit, and you know that I would have read that anyway, but now I'm actually doing work for the show. Last night was one of the first Wednesday night in a long time where I haven't been, it wasn't up till 10 o'clock, trying to research for the show, because I've done it already. So it's very cool. If you're researching anything, go check out that Instapaper. It's cheap as chips. It works like a bomb. If you link it with the Readwise app, it's even better. I'll go one step further with Readwise. So the last couple of days, I've posted 2 pictures on Instagram. And they're both from a book I'm reading at the moment. It's The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
That's very cool.
Excellent book. I mean, if you're into like Stoic wisdom and all that stuff, Ryan Holiday is the man. And he's got 3 books. The Obstacle is the Way. Well, there's like 3 in a series. Obstacle is the Way is the first one. Excellent. And so out of interest, when we started the show, maybe even after, it was about 6 months into the show, we realized the value of, getting yourself out there on social media, posting the odd thing, and not Facebook and all that rubbish, but like a LinkedIn type of a thing. Post something decent, see what sort of results you get. And talking again of Mark, Mark Mason took on that advice. Mark has posted some excellent articles. He's knocked our socks off when it comes to
100%.
writing. So, but the point is, coming up with content is difficult. It requires a little bit of a pretty strong self-esteem and a lot of time. And as you get busier, time gets less. There's no question. But now you're reading this Ryan Holiday book, Ryan, and you come up and there's a quote there. Maybe that quote resonates with you personally, aviation, your life, whatever. Highlight the quote. Okay. How easy is it for you to comment on that quote that resonated with you?
Yeah, of course.
It's going to take you 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's resonated. You've highlighted it. It's there.
Yeah.
You can make it look pretty. You can put it in the Instagram square, make it black, blue, white, whatever you want. Bang, post it on social media. You're a content creator.
Yeah.
Content creation is not like,
it's
not like morons who sit once a week and do an hour's podcast with this setup. It takes a huge amount, to create something. You can actually create something pretty quickly by using your brain, using technology, using apps that are out there. I'm telling you now, one of the best ways to create content is, use that Readwise app.
Yeah.
Find something you like. It forces you to read.
Yeah. Which is highly underestimated. Hey, reading. I found in the last couple of months. I mean, I used to read a lot, and I like sort of let it go. But you can't. Geez, I'm actually even losing the words for it now. But you can't discount the fact that there's a lot of power in reading.
It's major.
There's that stuff you actually are taking, and when you're not thinking about it, it's like it's stuff that does improve your life, and it works for you. So, and it's with all the load shedding that we got in South Africa, sometimes you got nothing else to do but read, and why not just read something that's of value and let it improve you?
If your iPad is charged,
or get a power bank.
But you understand what I'm saying? If you're reading and you don't take one highlight, you're still reading.
Yeah,
you don't have to post anything. You're still reading something. It's still adding a huge amount of value.
When you are reading something, there is always something that resonates with you. And why not just keep that and go back to it from time to time again?
But it's so easy to do.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's really, really valuable.
Very cool.
And it's a cool way to do it.
It's a great advisory, cuz.
I'll show you how it works later properly, but
I'm keen.
You're gonna dig it. Thanks everyone for listening to us today.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Certainly doesn't go unnoticed. 3 to go till 100. Party time. Marcel Smith. Thanks, Marcel. Keegan Glanfield. How's it, gents? 100 around the corner. Janet, our loyal supporter,
commenting from her phone, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe people don't necessarily know, but because of Janet's major support, we actually now all work together. So yeah, Janet, we see Janet every day. She works with us now, and because she was such a mad supporter, so thanks, Janet. And Leon, hey guys, and Lachey Super said, how's it, guys? What else here? David off. It's a mess here. LOL. That's a long one. If you wear a mask on a flight, especially on a long flight at high altitudes, could be dangerous in case of a rapid depressurization at flight level 410. Packs can panic and may not be able to get the oxygen mask on and get hypoxia. Yeah.
Valid point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always attack the safety angle to get things ready.
Yeah.
Lianya, airlines should link with Starlink.
Good point.
You mean Skylink? Oh no, Starlink.
No, Starlink.
Yolanda from Real Evening, gentlemen. Yolanda's a legend, though.
Yeah, she's a big supporter.
She's a legend.
Yeah.
She's doing all this. She's put together quite a decent group on Telegram.
Yeah,
job opportunities. Very, very cool.
So
yeah, if you want info on that, then shoot me a message, and then I'll try and get you on that group. Check your Leon, Ryan, the bravest person I know. That was because of your Airbus comments.
Airbus pilots are lazy.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to get shot down for that, but so what?
100%. Yeah. Whizwheel. Yeah, Yolanda makes a point about the seats. You could check who you're sitting next to. You book a seat next to someone and then it gets changed. Yeah. Could be a few difficult ones there, but thanks everyone. I really appreciate your support. Doesn't go unnoticed. Next week,
number 98, we got Kotsa Marumo joining us, our loyal Saputo from Lesotho. Supporter from Lesotho. Yeah, he's coming in to visit us, and we're gonna have him on the show. And I look forward to meeting him in person. I think he's got a great story to tell.
He does have a story. There's no question about it. You can't just have anyone on the show. I mean,
no. Look, I mean, I think it's falling in line with our Connecting with Aviators series, and he certainly is that. He's just got his He's had a long journey.
He's had a serious journey.
So
it forms part of our Connecting with Aviators.
That's it. Yeah. And then number 98 next week, and
one to go, then the number 100.
Yeah. So all good.
Yolanda says, thank you for the mention, guys. Blush. I was only saying that, Yolanda, so just to check that you're actually listening. So thank you.
So I got one more thing before we cancel. And that is to just wish little Capri a very happy birthday tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
Turning 1 tomorrow, hey?
Yeah.
Proud dad.
Number 1, very proud dad.
Yeah.
I'm taking the day off work. It's the first day I've taking off work for a long time. So I'm looking forward to that. My mom's coming up from Cape Town on a SAST flight.
That's awesome.
Yep.
There's having kids is special, guys, but their first birthday is quite an event, and happy birthday to Capri, and well done to you and mommy for,
And mom and dad couldn't have planned it any better, because Fridays are notoriously a difficult day in a corporate, because there's a lot of teams meetings and there's a lot of
it's your baby's first birthday. I think you've got license to bail
I'm
out on
taking
this
the
one.
day off. I'm
Switch
bailing
your phone
out.
off and run, bro.
I'm done. No, the phone will be on, but I'm done. We'll get the podcast out early in the morning, and then
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah, it was a cool show today, man.
It was good fun, pal. Yeah.
What makes it such a good show? What makes the show a good show? It's hard to tell, eh?
I don't know. Just
Ryan and I, we've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the right ingredients are, and a lot of the time it's I don't know. It's just nice to, in a weird way, you got all the comments here with all the Geeks, Caroline, Yolanda, Janet, everyone's there, and it's almost like having a chat as we would with our mates.
Yeah, exactly. It's like being around
with our friends.
Yeah, in the pub.
Yep.
Except you're not. But
I love it.
It's awesome.
Never going to change. It's going to carry on going.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone. And if you know anyone that would enjoy the show that you think might like our content, then please share it. It does go a long way.
Yeah.
Last little thing, Keegs made a few comments there today. 10% off flying socks if you're a Bryan Air Podcast listener.
Exactly.
So shoot on over. The link will be in the show notes. You click it, you get 10% off. Good deal. They are the best socks in the business.
You won't be sorry. And
you will not be sorry.
I had a lot of fun to wear some aviation themed pair of socks. I mean, I got my captain socks on today. So
I got my 3 left, 3 right. That's my standard for the show. And what's cool with it is, they get delivered to your place if you want, but you can do what I do and just shoot across to old Keegs' spot there. Lives in a mansion. He's selling these things. He must be selling a lot of them.
Yeah, I wish I'd started selling aviation themed socks a long time ago.
Yeah,
making a fortune.
Yeah, but what a cool business. What a legend, and we want to keep supporting the guy. So the flying socks, check it out. The flying eyes too, man. 10% off. Bryan Air Podcast listener.
Yeah, and old Keegs is not such a bad part of himself as well. So awesome.
Yep,
guys. See you next week.
Have a good one.
Cheers, pal.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye for now.